Midnight Rambler is a novel about a character named Jack Carpenter, a retired cop who's been forced to leave his job because he beat up a serial killer named Simon Skell, the Midnight Rambler. When this novel begins, the case against Skell is unraveling, and Carpenter is doing everything within his power to keep Skell in prison. Florida has certainly had its share of horrific killers. I had a law enforcement officer tell me that nobody just passes through Florida. Everybody comes here for a reason. And that's also true with the people who commit crimes. I was reading a book several years ago, a law enforcement case guide about paraphilias. There are paraphilias which are tied to songs. Charles Manson, a famous serial killer from the 70s in California, had a paraphilia with the song Helter Skelter, the Beatles song. The Rolling Stones song, Midnight Rambler, was fascinating to me because it's about a serial killer, the Boston Strangler. So, you know, which came first, the story or the song? I think they were both sort of rambling around in my head for quite a long time. And the result was my writing Midnight Rambler. Midnight Rambler is modeled after a serial killer named Oscar Ray Bolin, who lived a few miles from my home. Oscar Ray was unique. Handsome, he's charming, he is a master at manipulating the media. He has continually gotten his case brought back in front of judges, and he was described to me by a law enforcement officer as a killing machine. My first 7 novels are mysteries. Midnight Rambler is a thriller, and I call it that because in writing it, I discovered that people who search for missing people, abduction specialists, and especially those who search for missing children, and that's Jack Carpenter's specialty, he finds missing kids, that those people, when they are searching for children who have been abducted, a trigger is flipped inside of them. And you've heard a story about the mother who sees her child run over by a car, and she goes over and picks up the car to save her child. That's a maternal instinct in high gear. The same thing happens to people who are searching for kids. I found it to be absolutely fascinating. It is different than any area of law enforcement that I've read about, experienced with my other books, and that was really what compelled me to write this book. In the novel I have it, Jack, when he is involved with a case, he'll say a knife-like pain stabbed me in the gut. That happened to me several times when I was researching this book and when I was writing this book. I've had several people tell me that I'm like a method actor in terms of my writing. I really want to get to the heart and soul of what I write about. Although I write fiction, I back it up with facts. And so when someone's finished reading this book, I think they'll know a little bit more about this field and have a greater appreciation for the people that do this kind of work. I certainly do now. I look at them as being true heroes. You go above and beyond the call of duty when you are trying to find someone who's been stolen. It's unlike any other form of crime I've encountered.